Hello and welcome to the show. Blumenec, that Corvette came really close. And there's another one. Okay, well, there we go. That was an exciting start. Today I want to try something a little bit different here. Mainly because everything has been broken and Daniel's been away, so we haven't really had time to make the defending guide properly. So yeah, it was a little bit of a change of plan. This wasn't a last minute panic and do something. Hello Evo. This was more a case of I wanted to do this anyway and thought why not give it a go. Tomorrow or today, no wait, I've confused myself. Why not give it a go on a Saturday? There we go. Just kind of see how this goes, see what the reaction is, see if people like this. I'm going to try a sort of a podcasty general chat, kind of slight question and answer thing possibly, and I will generally talk about games, cars, and some other stuff and try not to rant too much. I don't like ranting really in video. Loads of people, you can go online and you can find many people being angry and shouting and ranting about various things. I tend to try and give a fair opinion on something. I will look for the good in something. I won't play a game I don't like just to shout at it and say it's terrible. I try to be fairly fair and not be too angry about things. I do realise the irony in me slightly ranting about people ranting. Yeah, there's no other way of doing that. Anyway, on this, because I don't have anything really to put on the screen, I don't have a video camera, and I certainly wouldn't want to film myself for half an hour talking, because that would be weird. On the screen, I'm going to be playing through some of the 1,000 club challenges on Horizon. As we go through, if this idea is popular, I will be getting Daniel in, and we may well end up messing about on Test Drive. Or Horizon, who knows? We'll be doing stuff. What's going on the screen probably won't be the most exciting stuff in the world. It's just sort of general gameplay. So if you want to go off and do other stuff and just leave this window open to listen to me talk, I don't know why you would, but you might do. Then you're more than welcome to. You're not going to miss a huge amount on the game. Doing Let's Plays on racing games is actually really very tricky because while stuff does go on in racing games, a lot of the time you're concentrating on actually driving. That makes it very hard. Like on good races, anyway. Oh god, that was a big lamppost clatter there. A lot of the time, it's very hard to do Let's Plays on racing games because you're either concentrating on racing, and then it's quite hard to talk. If you're in a seriously close race, it's very hard to talk and race at the same time. Even me just doing this occasionally, I might suddenly go quiet as I try and get the car to do something. Yeah, it's very hard to talk and race competitively. Anyway, I've kind of got a little bit more used to it now as I've done many videos, but yeah, you'll see Daniel does struggle with it from time to time, and it can be quite tricky. Also, racing games, there is stuff going on, but it's not the same as, say, I use Minecraft as an example here because many people do Let's Plays on that. There's always stuff going on in Minecraft. There can always be stuff going on in Minecraft, unless sort of you're in a really competitive race and you can talk through the whole thing. There's not always stuff going on in racing. I can be at the front of a race and have vanished off somewhere, or I can be at the back and be absolutely nowhere, or you can be in the middle of the pack and have nobody around you. So yeah, it's hard doing Let's Plays in racing games. So yeah, what's on the screen now is the most exciting stuff in the world. Anyway, I believe I have gone completely off topic already, which was really clever of me. What was I going to... Oh yes, I know, I remember, honest. I'm going to start talking about free-to-play games, actually. Ooh, crap, I've had a big crash. Primarily because the World of Tanks beta has now come to Europe. People in Europe can actually play it, which is good. So, yeah, I got the beta code or whatever. I can't remember when it was. Yesterday. I think I played it a little bit this morning. World of Tanks, and I think there's a World of Warplanes, not sure if that's quite out yet, is a good free-to-play game. There are very few that are good, though. Free-to-play games basically make their money on your addiction to the game. So the fact that, I don't know, I'm trying to think of I don't play very many, but they rely on the game being highly addictive and then make you spend an absolute fortune on stuff for the game. So a lot of people dislike them for that reason, because they are incredibly expensive if you try and do all of the things on or the options, that kind of thing. World of Tanks gets a lot of things right because you do not need to spend money to actually enjoy the game. I've never spent any money on any free-to-play game, I don't think, so I don't actually know what the advantages are on World of Tanks that it gives you, but I've played many an hour on there, absolutely no problem. and I haven't had to spend any money. I'm terrible at it, but I haven't had to spend any money on it. War Thunder is another very good example. War Thunder is a plane shooty arcadey. It's kind of like World of Tanks but with planes. It's a rival to the World of Warplanes game, basically. It's a really good free-to-play game. You don't have to spend money to enjoy it. You don't have to spend money to win battles, win matches. You spend money to get slightly different aircraft and kind of like unique aircraft, but they're not massively overpowered, I don't think, anyway. I probably shouldn't say that. I haven't played enough of it to actually know. But yeah, it's a good free. Another one, what was it? Neverwinter, an MMO that's free to play, and it actually works. You don't have to spend a fortune to do anything. There's no level cap as such. Well, there is, but it's not sort of based upon you have to spend money to go past this certain level. At least not that it wasn't last time I played it. At least I certainly don't remember that being a thing. It's actually a very good fun game. So if free-to-plays are done correctly, I don't have a problem with them. Like World of Tanks. If the World of Tanks on the Xbox One is actually very enjoyable, I may end up spending actual money on getting some cool tanks. Because yeah, it's a good game, and the same goes with the likes of War Thunder and stuff. If the game is actually good, I don't have a problem buying a few things to kind of support the game. It's when you have, I can't think of examples at the moment, but I'm sure there are many out there. It's when you have a game that is basically pay to win. They are the terribleness ones. They are what give free-to-play games a bad reputation, and I feel sorry for the few free-to-play games that are good. That they kind of get stuck with that kind of reputation of being, oh, you have to pay money to win, and you have to pay an awful lot of money to win. Also, I hate the Facebook game kind of things where you have to wait every 4 hours or however many hours it is to do a certain thing, and you have to spend money if you want to skip that. I don't get the point of doing that. Why wouldn't you just have the game sort of just progress normally, and then if the game's good enough, people will still pay money for it? World of Tanks, it's a huge success. I mean, they've brought it onto Xbox, and that doesn't rely on you having to wait 20 minutes for your tank to be ready for the next battle again, or pay to have it respawn quicker. You know, why not just build a good game and then people will pay, or people will support it, and that kind of thing. So yeah, free-to-play games can be very good, and I recommend if you can sign up for the beta of World of Tanks, I think still, or whenever it actually is released. I really do recommend you give it a go. It's a great game, and don't be put off by the fact that it is a free-to-play game, or you can get it on PC at the moment. You can get it on PC at the moment for free. Don't be put off by the fact that a game is, or by the fact that some games are free to play, because they can be very good games underneath. But you do have to be careful with them. They can get very expensive very quickly if you've found a bad one. Let's put it like that. Anyway, moving on. What were we meant to be doing? Oh yes, some questions. I'm going to be doing this kind of, I wouldn't say a question and answer kind of thing, but if people have questions or topics and stuff they would like to discuss, then there's a bit on our forum. I'll put a link in the description. There's a bit on our forums that you can ask us questions in, and we will get round to kind of answering them. We won't do massive amounts of them in like an episode. It won't just be like constant question answer, and so on. We will elaborate a little bit. We will talk a little bit more, and eventually end up going off topic and talk about something completely different. But yeah, we will do that. So yeah, you can ask us questions on there for next episode. Anyway, for this one, the first question that that I got asked on there is about cars, about real life cars, and it is, what is my first car, and some terribly badly worded sentence, but have I ever crashed it? I think is the gist of the next part. My first car, and the car that I still have, is a Renault Clio Mark 1. I will put a picture on the screen probably if I remember. If not, then Google it and you'll see what I mean. It's quite an old car. It's not terrible. I mean, it gets me from A to B. But that's about it. It's not particularly fast. It's not particularly exciting. If you go above 70 miles an hour, it shakes and rattles and is all very scary. Anybody who has an old car... oh crap, I've gone the wrong way. Anybody who has an old car... I'm sure someone in the audience will have a car like this. When you go above 70, everything rattles and vibrates, and it's all very noisy and sounds like it's going to fall apart. It's kind of a little bit scary. Although getting it past 70 is a feat in its own, because it's terribly slow. But yeah, it goes from A to B, and that's what you need in a car at the moment until insurance is vaguely sensible. Because getting insurance as a teenager in any country, as I would imagine, I don't know what it's like in America, but in England, certainly getting insurance as a teenager is an absolute nightmare. It costs a fortune on the most part. And have I ever crashed it? No, I have never crashed my car, which is good. I've had a few near misses. 2 of them weren't my fault, and one of them, it was snowing, so I'm going to blame the snow for. I guess it was you could kind of say it was my fault, but adverse weather conditions, there we go. In fact, the 2 that weren't my fault, both had Audis involved. I mean, Audi. I like Audis. Audis are great cars. Like the RS4s, the S5s, RS5s, all that sort of thing. They're great cars. The problem is that they are driven, or lots of Audis, lots of BMWs, lots of Lexuses, they're all driven by businessmen who spend most of their life driving backwards and forwards, and they think that they own the road because they have a big, powerful car. And you can guarantee if you are being tailgated, it will be by one of them 3. Oh, and Mercedes as well. One of them 4. That will be following you absolutely everywhere. So, yeah, they are... They are incredibly... I hate it when you look in your rearview mirror and you've got the twinkly LEDs of a blooming Audi right behind you. You know it's going to be a bad journey when that happens. So, yeah, the first of the near misses I had... oh crap, I've changed down gear. That wasn't the button I meant to press. The first near misses I had, I was driving to my girlfriend's. Basically, the route between me and my girlfriend's goes kind of across country. There's no real direct motorway. Like motorway for the first maybe 30 minutes, and the rest of it's sort of on these fast kind of A roads that are single carriageway, which is fine until you get stuck behind a lorry because you can't overtake it, and then you're stuck going really slowly. But yeah, there are these fast, they're fairly twisted, they're actually quite fun to drive down roads, these ones. And I can't remember, what was it? I was kind of, I've been followed by this blooming Audi. It's very annoying down this road. It was fairly quiet that day, which makes a change. So yeah, I was being followed by this Audi, and we were going down these tight, twisty roads. You can't really overtake a slow car in front of you. I wish you blooming could, so the Audi could have got out of the way. But it's really hard to overtake anybody who is in front of you because the roads are kind of twisty, and there's lots of hills, so you can't really see far enough to ever properly overtake. So when you are stuck behind a lorry, it's terrible. So we're going along, and I'm doing 60. Which is the speed limit, and much more than that, and my car falls apart. The Audi behind me definitely wants to be doing about 80, but of course can't get past me, so he was irritating the crap out of me. We're coming sort of up towards a sort of a hill and a corner. There's a corner at the top of this hill. You can't see around it, and if you're going the other way, you definitely can't see around it. So as I start kind of going up this hill, there is I think there's a Vauxhall Zafira. This Vauxhall Zafira is trying to overtake a caravan as they come over the top of the hill. He cannot see at all what is going on. The other side, he could not have known if anything was coming the other way. If I'd been about 5 seconds, set off 5 seconds earlier, I would have had a very big crash because this car was coming over the hill on the wrong side of the road. He was doing about 80, and it would have been a terrible, terrible accident. So yeah, this Vauxhall's coming over the crest of the hill. I can't really slam on my brakes that hard because I've got a blooming great big Audi behind me. So I kind of have to start braking and try and hope that the Audi sees what's going on and doesn't... Well, he's going to be an idiot because he's right behind me. But that the Audi actually knows what's going on. I can't slam on my brakes like I'd like to. Amazingly, I managed to slow down enough, and the Vauxhall thing manages to squeeze in between me and the caravan and gets back on his own side of the road. And yeah, I don't know how I got away with that one. That's probably the nearest miss I've had. That was terrifying. Seeing a great big people carrier going on your side of the road. Yeah, that wasn't particularly nice. The next one, I was coming onto a roundabout, and you check. It was clear for me to go onto the roundabout, so I entered the roundabout. Absolutely everything's fine. A car on the left who is sort of looking to come on the roundabout stops because I'm on the roundabout, so I have right of way. And as I sort of go to take the corner, and then out of absolutely nowhere, again, it must be going pretty damn fast, some Audi estate car comes flying out of the side, goes flat out onto the roundabout, and just carries on. He would not have seen if I was there. He just didn't care and carried on. And that time I could slam on my brakes and get my car stopped, and the blooming Audi narrowly avoids the front of my car and just carries on with his journey. Why would you ever do that? I mean, if I'd had a great big truck and had been carrying on around there, you would have gone straight into the side of the Audi and you would probably have killed the driver. Why would you on earth would you drive like that? I don't know. Again, that one there was incredibly lucky, incredibly lucky escape for me. I mean, I wasn't going particularly fast. I probably would have got away without actual injury, but it would have probably done a fair bit of damage to my car because my car is rather old and probably not the safest thing in the world. But yeah, so that was pretty damn scary. And the final one is in snow. In England, for those of you who don't live in England, snow is a very rare occasion. It happens about twice a year. And whenever the weather people say that it is going to snow, it won't snow. And whenever the weather people say it's not going to snow, it probably will. So when you look at the weather forecast and it says it's likely to snow at a weekend, you don't really pay a huge amount of attention, or at least I don't, because you know they make up a load of crap. Or, well, no, to be fair to them, it's very hard to predict what the weather's going to do. So I shouldn't say. I've done geography. It is a real pain when you try and figure out what the blooming weather's going to do. Anyway, so I was going to set off on a journey, and it said it wasn't. It said it was going to snow, but I didn't really believe it. It wasn't snowing when I started. Sure, it was a bit cloudy, but this is England. It's always blooming cloudy. So I set off on the journey, not really expecting it to actually snow. I get about halfway. I've never driven properly in the snow before. I learned to drive in the summer, so this was like my first winter, if you like, of driving. So I got halfway and it hadn't started snowing at all. I thought, see, there was nothing to worry about. And sure enough, I get to Milton Keynes, as some of you might know where that is. It's a fairly big city, fairly busy city. I get to Milton Keynes and it starts to snow. And nothing major. I think, oh, well, this isn't too bad. It's not doing much. Sure enough, I get sort of to the other side of Milton Keynes, and by then it is absolutely hammering it down with snow. Well, when I say hammering, I mean that's by England standards. Okay, I'm sure by Canadian or Russian or other parts of the world that are cold, standard Scandinavia, yeah, you probably have a lot heavier snow than we were having. But for England, it was pretty heavy snow. So yeah, we're kind of going through Milton Keynes, and by the end of it, you pretty much come to a sort of a crawl. It's amazing how when you learn to drive, I'm sure there'll be some of you who haven't learned to drive yet who are watching this, you will spend a long time learning all of the rules and all of that stuff, etc. You will learn all of that. You will spend many an hour practicing all of that to pass your driving test. You will then pass your driving test, and you will realise that everybody else on the road has completely forgotten 90% of those rules. Okay, they remember to stop at red lights, and some remember how a roundabout works. Nobody remembers how indicators work. Yeah, I've never had a skill that you spend such a long time learning for everybody to forget the instant you pass your driving test. I reckon 90% of the people who are driving on the road on the most case would fail a driving test if they had to redo it. That's how terrible it is. This is in England. I don't know what it's like in other countries. But yeah, it's kind of stupid. However, when it does snow, it's quite incredible because suddenly everybody becomes sensible. It's really weird. Everybody is being cautious. Everybody's being courteous. It's incredibly strange, except for one Land Rover. But yeah, I guess he thought he had a good enough car to withstand the snow, while as me and my little Clio was very scared most of the time. No, yeah. So it starts snowing really heavily. Once the snow's starting building up on dual carriageways, then yeah, okay, it's things are getting a little bit bad here. So yeah, we're carrying on with this journey, and I take the wrong turn up a motorway, get lost for about 20 minutes, get stuck in traffic. It's not the most productive journey. It took sort of 2 hours to do a part that should normally only take half an hour. In fact, it might have even been longer than that. But yeah, I was making fairly good progress through this journey, and I think I was kind of 10 minutes away from my destination when I came up towards a big roundabout, and I was kind of a dual carriageway. I was not going city speeds. I was pretty much crawling along with everybody else, driving very sensibly. And you go up towards the roundabout. I put my brakes on, and everything locks up. At that moment, you crap yourself and try not to panic. I don't know if any of you, I'm sure some of you will have had this when you just put the brakes on and everything's locked and then you got no steering, and then it is quite scary. At that point in time, it's very tricky to know what to do. If you'd locked up on a sort of a normal road, you take your foot off the brake and then you put your foot back on again, trying to get the brakes to a point where they're not locking up, which is fine on a normal road. That's relatively easy to do. I say relatively easy, but that's not too bad. The problem is, when it comes to sort of snow and ice, if you were doing that, you'd have to keep taking your foot off the brake, and you'd end up not having a huge amount of braking force. That's actually a reason why ABS can be quite dangerous when it's snowing, because you'll put your foot on the brakes and the brakes will try and kind of lock up, and the ABS will say no brakes for you because they are just locking up, and then your car just won't stop. So yeah, ABS can be a little bit tricky in the snow, and because when you are trying to brake in the snow, I learned this in college actually. I had a tutor at college, loved to ramble on about it. It was a fairly interesting story some of the time, but in snow, when you put the brakes on, you're actually supposed to let your wheels lock up kind of for a little bit, because that kind of gathers the snow in front of you and helps you slow down that way. So I was trying to kind of do all of this and judge all of this and get my car slowed down. And of course, right in front of me was a great big SUV. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a Defender, but yeah, I can't remember. And amazingly, I managed to get my car stopped just about before I ran into the back of the Land Rover. Yeah, that was pretty scary. But there's not much you can do. Once you put your foot on the brakes and everything's starting to lock up, then you know you're in a little bit of trouble. I'm fairly surprised I got it stopped, to be honest, but I'm very happy with that one. Interestingly, on that journey, I saw one crash and I saw one sort of aftermath of the crash. Ironically, both of them were cars that should be suitable for this show, far more than 90% of the cars that were on our roads. I saw a Jeep Cherokee of some description, I think it was a Cherokee anyway, on its side in a ditch, which made me laugh. I think somebody was taking a few too many liberties, the fact they had a four-wheel drive car. And I saw a Volvo that it was coming onto a roundabout and it put its brakes on and it did everything locked up and it went into the back of something, I can't remember. So you would expect a Volvo and a four-wheel drive Jeep to be pretty good in the snow, but apparently not. So that is I have many driving stories. That's the nearest misses from my driving. Let's go have a look at some more questions. I've got to go find the forum page now. While that's loading. I can't find it now. I should have organised this a little bit better. I will point out some of the questions we won't do because I'll wait for Daniel to be here before I do them. Where are we going? Loads of people want to know what cars we have. I have a Clio, Daniel has a go-kart, and that's about it. Where are we going? Oh yes, I like this question. It was, what would you, there we go, I will get this thing right. Would you want to do racing in other games that aren't true racing games, such as Halo? That was the example given. Interestingly, I suspect absolutely none of you will know, I don't think I've said this before, the first video I ever made that went on YouTube was a race, was some racing in Halo, oh god, which one was it? I think it was Halo 3, yeah. There's some racing in Halo 3. Basically, I had just seen the film Death Race, and for those of you who don't know, what they did with Death Race is they took a guy's mind and made it into a film. That's the best way to to explain what Death Race is. If you haven't seen it, you really should. It is not very clever, but there are lots of cars, lots of girls, lots of explosions, and it's a great film. It's so dumb, but it's just entertaining. It's brilliant. So yeah, I saw Death Race, and I still actually to this day reckon they should make a Death Race game. It would be a fantastic game because you know you could have to try and pick your car. Would you go for something sort of small and light, like the Porsches or the Porsche that was in the film, to try and be more manoeuvrable, to try and be kind of faster around the track, or do you go for something big and heavy that will take more hits, like the Dodge Ram? But oh crap, nearly had a crash on like the Dodge Ram. But of course, you're not going to have the straight line speed or the handling, and then you could have a sort of system of money or credits or I don't know, something like that, for sort of armor. So you could go for more expensive armor to give you better kind of resistance to damage, but then you won't have as much money for guns, or you could go for the heavily armed car, with lots of powerful weapons but have less armor and you take more damage. You put all that together in a good game, I think that could be an amazing game, but there isn't one. I don't know, there may be a terrible movie tying at some point, but I haven't heard of it, if there is. So, yeah, I was thinking that would make a great game. So what I tried to do is recreate it in Halo. I think it was Halo 3. What I did, I basically made a track in the Forge World Editor thing, and then we're having a race. We're having teams. Basically, one guy would drive the Warthog, while the other guy would sit in the passenger seat. If you use the main guns on Halo, the things kill Warthogs far too fast. So the guy would sit in the passenger seat, and it would be his job to try and shoot the other Warthogs. And then, of course, he would have a selection of weapons. I'm pretty sure I didn't allow like the rocket launchers and fuel rod guns and all of that silly stuff, because that's far too overpowered and would kill warthogs really, really quickly. So it was like choice, like you go for assault rifles, battle rifles, you go for a sniper rifle if you're feeling brave, and try to kind of take out the enemy drivers or gunners and that kind of thing. And it worked quite well actually. It was fairly fun. Yeah. I back then I was terrible at video making and camera angles and all that sort of stuff. And you're not going to find it because it's long gone. I deleted that account ages ago. So yeah, you're not going to find you're not going to find it. So yes, I have done videos on other. I probably would do again if people were actually interested in that kind of thing on other games. The Halo Warthogs are actually quite fun things to drive, because they don't have the strangest handling of any vehicle. If you haven't ever played Halo, the Warthogs are fantastic fun at being vaguely controllable. They are very silly cars to drive. But yeah, I probably would do that sort of thing again. But it would largely depend on if people were interested, if people actually wanted to kind of watch that sort of thing. I don't know. If you're still listening, watching this video, then leave a comment if you'd like to see that made into a video again. That could be quite fun. So yes, the answer to that is we would probably, if people were interested in it. I kind of like playing other games other than racing. I like making videos of other games other than racing. I love racing games. You guys are all going to know that. But yeah, I do enjoy plenty of other games. Strategy games are some of my favourites. I love having to think in my video games, especially in very good strategy games like Civ 5 and that sort of thing. I love the proper complicated strategy games that I'm terrible at, but are still highly enjoyable. And I don't even mind playing the likes of any first-person shooter. Really, I've played a fair bit of Battlefield and Call of Duty and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, I would do racing in other games, but the problem is whenever I have played other games, they haven't been hugely popular. I mean, now we are a little bit bigger. When we do play something slightly different, then we do get a few more views than we used to. But yeah, it's if people want to see it, then we will probably do it at some point. But at the moment, other than sort of racing stuff, nothing really is that popular. So yes, there we go. That was a very long-winded answer to a fairly straightforward question. That was a very near miss with some form of Lamborghini. Not sure what it was. Anyway, I'm just having a look through some more questions. Actually, I think I'm going to leave the rest of the questions because for when Daniel gets on here. In fact, actually, I haven't pointed out yet why I'm doing. I did point out why I'm doing this. Yeah, Daniel has been rather busy the last couple of days, so everything has been a little bit awkward for filming stuff. It is the downside, the real downside, with doing this YouTube stuff with two of us, because it's very hard organising everything. It's very hard organising other people as well, to be online when everybody has different commitments and is around at different times, and especially when you start talking about different time zones. Don't get me started on that. That's an absolute nightmare. Anyway, I'm going to move on to one final thing, and the reason why I bring this up actually is because I've started getting into XCOM. I've been playing XCOM a lot over the last couple of days. I bought it ages ago, and I played it. I thought it was a fantastic game, and haven't played it for a few months because I've just been busy doing other stuff. And for some reason, I decided to boot it up again on a couple of days ago, and it's still an absolutely incredible game. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I want to talk about kind of like, I would say horror games, but games which try to be scary. In my opinion, there is no game it can ever be truly scary, because what is there to fear? If you die, you press a reset button and it reloads you, and then you go and try again until you eventually succeed, or give up, shout and throw the controller at something, and then turn the difficulty down. That's what I normally do. But yeah, no game can ever really be scary because there's no fear. You're not exactly fearing anything, are you? So yeah, I don't think a game can actually be scary, although XCOM does some things very cleverly. If you haven't played XCOM, it is a turn-based strategy game based around aliens have attacked the planet, and you are trying to basically survive it. I haven't got to the end, never completed it because I'm terrible. But yeah, I guess you have to kill the aliens and get them to bugger off your planet. The reason why I would say XCOM is probably one of the scariest games ever made. Not because there are lots of horrible monsters that jump out of you. I wouldn't say they're generic, but they're aliens that you have to deal with. The reason XCOM is scary is because every decision you make is final. If you go into it, if you've researched a certain thing and you go into a mission without good armor, then you are going to be in trouble. If your squad dies, your squad is dead. You will not get them back. The example that I give when I talk about this game is, say you've spent, I don't know, 10 missions training up this guy to be sort of like a super soldier. Maybe he's a really good sniper, or he's a really good heavy. He has huge amounts of health, can do huge amounts of damage. He has rocket launchers or whatever it is that you've done with him. You spent a long time training up this guy. In fact, it'll probably be more than 10 missions, say like 20 missions you've been on with this guy. He's like some super soldier who can kill all sorts of many things and survive a lot of damage. You go into a mission, you're playing through the mission, and you want to train up some of the rest of your squad, because you have 5-6 man squads. So you take along a couple of rookies with you because you need to level them up. But since you're taking rookies with you into what could be a difficult mission, you might as well take some of your good guys to make sure that they don't all die. You go through the mission, things might be going quite well. You may be doing well, you may be killing the aliens, you may be progressing, maybe saving some civilians, or whatever it is that you might be doing. And you get towards the end, your heavies, maybe they'll take a little bit of damage, they're likely to. But they have a lot of health, so it'll probably be fine. Then some alien surprises you, everything goes to hell, and one of your rookies get killed. Okay, when you lose a rookie, that's not particularly important. I mean, okay, in terms of video games, shall we say, that's probably not the cleverest thing I've ever said, but in terms of video games, you lose a rookie soldier, it's not the end of the world in XCOM. However, what happens is when a rookie is killed, or when someone's killed, or when someone takes a lot of damage, a rookie is more likely to panic. Basically, that means the rookie will then do a random action. It could be useful. I've had occasions when they've panicked and shot the last alien in a mission. That's quite useful. They can take cover. They can run away. They will do something, and you don't have any control over it. One of the options is throw a grenade, which means they can throw a grenade in a random direction. Yes, they can throw a grenade and blow up your super soldier that you've been training for 20 missions, and he is not coming back. There is nothing you can do about it. So every time you go on a mission with XCOM, there's always this fear of losing your squad, and it's this fear of actually losing something is why I would say XCOM is one of the scariest games I've played, because there is a genuine fear, there is genuine tension. You want to keep your squad alive, so you play very carefully, especially if one of your good soldiers is down to a few bars of health as you get towards the last couple of aliens in a mission. Yeah, that's absolutely terrifying. When that happens, that's far scarier than Slender or whatever, because you die in Slender, well, you press reset, you try again. Sure, the thing may jump out and make you, or may appear out of somewhere, make you jump, that kind of thing. But yeah, any loud noise can make you jump. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're scared of something. So yeah, XCOM does a fantastic job of being a scary game. It's one of the very few. I shouldn't say scary game. Because it's not actually, what should I say, generating tension, generating fear. XCOM is by far probably the best I've played. I've played Dead Space. Dead Space, the first one, I played a bit of the second one, I haven't played the third one. Dead Space, the opening of the first one is pretty damn good, because you're going around a ship and there are noises and there is bloodstains and there are corpses and everything, but you don't really see what's going on. You don't know what's going on, especially if you play it for the first time. You don't know what's going on, you don't know what to expect, but nothing jumps out at you. It just builds tension, and that's far scarier than when the actual creatures do appear, because it just throws them out of an air vent right in front of you, and then you shoot them and then you carry on. So yeah, I don't think a game can really be scary in like sort of like the Dead Space way. The Amnesia does things a little bit different. I haven't played it, I've watched a few people play it. Amnesia does things slightly differently, because it does kind of try to build tension, because the creature you can't always see and that kind of thing. But even then, it still relies on sudden thing appearing out of nowhere a lot, and very few games don't do that these days. Very few games that try to be scary just rely on, let's make something jump out at you. And then if you die, you press reset. So I can't say that's particularly scary. One game I will mention that I think I used to say was probably the scariest game is Minecraft. You're probably wondering why on earth I'm saying that, because it sounds a little bit weird. Well, the reason I say Minecraft is you can respawn in Minecraft. unless you're playing on hardcore, in which case Minecraft is terrifying. But no, you can respawn in normal Minecraft. The thing with Minecraft is, say you go off mining, you spend maybe half an hour in some dark cave trying to find diamonds, or if you're using mods, other rare valuable materials. So you go and you're doing your little mining expedition, and you're wandering through this cave. The chances are you're going to run into some monsters, you're probably going to take some damage, and if you're like me and haven't come prepared, you've probably forgotten to bring not much food with you. So you'll go through this cave, you'll probably find some diamonds, you'll find what you were looking for, and you will probably have run out of food by then, because I'm terrible at remembering to stack up on food. And then you will go and head back out. As you head back out, you'll get ambushed by some skeleton, because you didn't quite light the place up well enough, and then you will be down to sort of 2 hearts. That is possibly the scariest moment in video games, when you are trying to find your way out of a cave with very little health and not really much clue where you're supposed to be going. Because you take 1 hit, maybe 2 hits from anything, and then that's it. You've wasted just half an hour of your life, because those things are going to all despawn before you can ever get back to it, because it's some long, complicated, twisty cave that you can't get back to. The fact the creatures aren't particularly scary on their own is the fact that when you die, you lose something, and that's what makes Minecraft scary. That's what makes XCOM scary, and that's what doesn't make the majority of supposedly scary games scary, because you can just press reset and then everything's fine. So yeah. I won't play horror games particularly, because I'm not particularly a fan of horror games, but no, I just don't find them particularly scary. It's just, yeah, something will jump out at you, but that doesn't make it a scary game. Right, have I ranted on about that? No, I haven't ranted. I don't think I've ranted. I think I've been very good at not ranting. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think of this idea of doing a podcast, of talking about random crap, basically, for third. I don't even know how long this video has gone on. I've ended up looking at the forums. Yeah, it's gone on for a while. So if you'd like to see more of this, if you'd like to see here, depends on what you were doing, then we will. Leave a comment, leave a like, and we'll get Daniel involved next time, and we'll probably end up playing around on test drive, maybe do some Horizon, will all depend, and yeah, we will see how it goes. If you have questions, if you have topics and that kind of thing you would like to hear us discuss, debate, and answer, then you can ask us the questions on our forums. I will put a link in the description. If you go under official events, there will be a thread there for asking of the questions, and stick your question in there, and we will get round to it at some point if it is sensible. If it's a very stupid question, then the chances are we won't answer it, but if it's a sensible question, we will probably answer it at some point. We are inevitably going to end up getting distracted and only do a few questions an episode, but there we go. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you very much for watching / listening. So until next time, goodbye.